Hey, what's up guys, Benny here and welcome to another Apex Legends video, and today has come with it one of the biggest updates since the launch of Season 1 with a ton of really important buffs and nerfs to weapons, map utility, and of course, Legends. The patch has also brought with it a couple of other adjustments that will most definitely affect the game's meta, so you're going to want to know every little detail so you can use it to your advantage over your opponents, which I'll teach you and let you know about in this update video. Also, with this latest update came with it the first Battle Pass experience bonus event, which is something you're definitely going to want to be taking advantage of. But first, let's take a look at what I believe to be the most important changes in this week's Apex Legends update, and that is the legend balancing adjustments. As I'm sure you're aware of, the chunky legends in Apex are by far the worst, and I'm sorry for all you chunky mains out there who love Caustic and Gibraltar, but whenever anyone sees them, they instantly think they've got a free kill. First up is Gibraltar, who a few weeks ago got that hitbox adjustment, which didn't have the effect that Respawn wanted, and based off the analytics that they have access to, Gibraltar was still massively underperforming compared to other legends in the game, which they believe to be a serious problem, so they've made a couple more changes to make him a more viable option. First of all, they've added a new perk to Gibraltar's passive, which is called Fortified, which reduces damage taken by 10%. Now, this might not sound like much, but that's an extra 10 base health, and when you've got level 3 armor, an extra 20 health, giving Gibraltar a total of 220, rather than the usual max 200 that legends like Wraith and Bangalore will have. But when you pair that health buff with the buff to Gibraltar's gun shield, which has gone from having 50 health to 75, that means Gibraltar can take over 300 damage depending on the gun that breaks Gibraltar's gun shield. And let's be honest, if you've got a good shot and are holding down a position, that makes him into a complete and utter tanky boy that could, in my opinion, now become one of the strongest characters in Apex Legends, especially with some of the latest buffs to long-range weapons in this update, which I'll get onto in a minute. But remember though, Respawn have said that they will be watching how these legends continue to perform over the next week or two to see if they are still underpowered, which could mean we could see an even bigger health buff in the future through the Fortified perk. Caustic, as the other chunky boy in Apex Legends, has also had a couple of changes. First of all, he has also, like Gibraltar, gained the Fortified perk, which reduces damage taken by 10%. Though Caustic is now also going to be able to deal a lot more damage, as his gas damage per tick has been increased from 1 to 4. So getting caught in Caustic's gas is going to be a lot more dangerous than it has been in the past. Which means that if you play as Caustic and want to completely lock down an area with gas and trigger the traps, he could become absolutely unstoppable at endgame, depending on where the zone ends up. Oh, it also means Bunker is now going to become a dream for Caustic players wanting to rack up a load of kills at the start of a game. Caustic's also had his ultimate throw distance increase from 28 meters to 33, which is great if you're trying to damage enemies at a distance, which is a playstyle we're going to start seeing a bit more of with this week's update, thanks to the change to the weapons. But I honestly think these buffs to Caustic and Gibraltar are huge, as I think we can all admit that since the game came out, they've sucked, and I think thanks to this week's update, they're going to become a much more viable legend to play as in being able to win games consistently. So make sure to give them a go with this latest update and let me know which one you'll be playing as down in the comments below. And if you're still not going to play as them, why not? Also, even though the update to Caustic and Gibraltar is pretty big in terms of the game's meta, this week's update has probably also had the biggest impact on the guns in Apex Legends since the game was launched. Respawn believe that long-range gunplay is a lot weaker compared to close range, which is true, as I personally tried to get as close to enemies as possible to deal the most amount of damage using guns like the R99 and Peacekeeper, with players using a longbow DMR or G7 Scout being in a lot of trouble most of the time. So to counter this, they've made leg shot damage reductions not as bad as they used to be, changing it from a 25% damage reduction pre-update to now being only 10%. This means that you won't be as punished for inaccurate shots at a distance. And Respawn have done this because a lot of legends have so many abilities that make them difficult to hit at a distance, such as Bangalore's double time or Octane stim. So with a single shot weapon, it's quite hard to deal enough damage to take enemies down at a distance consistently. But that leads on to the other buffs that Respawn have also added to snipers, which is the fact that they have now reduced snipers like the G7 Scout, Triple Take and Longbow DMR's weapon sway and sway speed. They reduced the weapon sway by about 33%, which is huge, which means that you're going to be able to land shots at longer distances so much easier than you were before, as there's going to be a smaller margin for error, and with a 25% reduction to the weapon sway speed as well, it's going to be even easier, making you far more likely to pick up kills up at a distance with these weapons. So I would definitely suggest, if you've been struggling with close quarters combat, try now using the G7 Scout, Triple Take and Longbow DMR a lot more from now on. So, the lowered leg shot damage reduction, reduced weapon sway and sway speed wasn't the only buffs that the Longbow DMR got, which for me has been a really disappointing weapon in Apex Legends so far, but that's about to change. It also got an increased rate of fire from 1.2 to 1.6, so it'll now fire 33% faster, which is going to be so useful at taking down enemy squads at a distance, especially if you can get your hands on the Skull Piercer attachment. But to help with the Longbow's DMR's new increased rate of fire, it also got an increased magazine size, with the base mag now having 6 rounds instead of 5, level 1 giving it 8 rounds, level 2 10 rounds, and the epic level 3 mag will now give the Longbow DMR 12 rounds a clip, which is going to make it a far better weapon, especially paired with that increased fire rate. The snipers weren't the only weapons to get changed in this balancing update. The Havoc Assault Rifle has also had its base magazine increased from 25 rounds to 32, and the single shot charge beam, which you get access to for long distance combat with the select fire attachment, now only costs 4 bullets a shot and now deals 60 damage at close range and 50 at a distance. You'll be able to deal that 60 damage up to 75 meters away per shot, and then the long range damage fall off will now be after 125 meters, making it even better at long range, which I feel this update is definitely leaning towards helping. But sadly, this update isn't all about buffing weapons. Some of our favorites have sadly taken a nerf, like the Spitfire, which I feel has been my go-to weapon for a long time now, which has had its base damage reduced from 20 to 18, which means you can no longer kill an enemy that doesn't have shield in just 5 bullets. So the Spitfire's time to kill is going to be lowered by a little bit. The Spitfire also is no longer going to be as effective at spraying and praying when you get that level 3 magazine, as all heavy mag attachments for the Spitfire have been reduced, with the level 1 only giving you 40 bullets a clip, the level 2 45 bullets a clip, and the level 3 55 bullets a clip, down from 60. It'll still be a good gun, but maybe not quite as overpowered as it was. And talking of overpowered guns, the Wingman has taken a huge nerf because of its clip size being reduced. The hardest thing with the Wingman is that you have to be super accurate to take enemies down, but sadly, when you pick it up now, the base mag for the gun is now only going to have 4 bullets. So if you miss, you're going to get destroyed by most other weapons in the game now. It's made me start thinking that with all the Longbow DMR buffs, it could be the new Wingman. Though the Wingman will still be pretty decent when you get an extended heavy mag, with the level 3 giving you 10 bullets a clip, the level 2 8 bullets, and the level 1 the usual 6 rounds a clip that you'll be used to. So if you're going to use the Wingman from now on, make sure you've got an extended mag. But with all those changes to long-range weapons in Apex Legends, make sure you try and use them as much as you can. You're definitely going to start having a lot more success at range than you have done in the past. So take advantage of it while you can, as most players will still be trying to rush straight at you across open ground. In this week's Apex Legends update, gold guns have also had a little bit of a change. The gold Havoc now has a turbocharger attachment rather than the select fire attachment, and also has a 1 to 2 times variable hollow sight. The gold R301 also now has a 1 to 2 times variable hollow sight, and the gold Wingman now has got a digital threat rather than the 1 to 2 times variable hollow sight, which is a huge upgrade and makes it worth keeping till endgame. And as I mentioned at the start of the video, Apex Legends is also having its first Battle Pass experience bonus event, where your first top 5 finish of the day, you'll get a 1 full bonus Battle Pass level, which is 29,500 Battle Pass points, which is huge, but you can only earn it once per day during the event, so make sure you get on and get those top 5 finishes, so you can make sure you get to that max Battle Pass rank and get all the rewards as quickly as you can. There was also a couple of other changes in today's update, which has been the biggest update to Apex Legends yet. The jump ship speed at the start of a game has had its speed increased by about 50%, as Respawn felt that the ship was moving a bit too slow, and after watching player behavior, they're speeding it up, so players that like to drop later in the flight path now don't have to wait so long. Respawn have also fixed a UI bug where the wrong percentage would be displayed for all boost badges. But there we have it. There's been some massive changes to the game in today's update, and I can't wait to see how the meta changes. So if you're new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe for more Apex Legends videos, and let me know if you're going to be playing as Gibraltar or Caustic now in the comments below. Smash that like button, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!